Part 60. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 591. In a blink of an eye it was Friday. Zhuangjia and Duan Saiki made an appointment on Saturday, and Muzi couldn't think of a suitable reason to prevent Zhuangjia from going to Duan's house, and she couldn't figure out the other party's purpose, so she could only tell Zhuangjia to be careful after going to Duan's house. Zhuangjia thinks so. The murderer hasn't been found yet, so of course she should be more careful. Thinking of the murderer, Zhuangjia couldn't help feeling anxious, and said to Muzi, Mrs. Duan took the child away from Duan's house, will the murderer shift his target to young Master Duan? If so, wouldn't Kikai dangerous? Muzi thought for a while, then replied vaguely, maybe. I have to tell Kikai to be careful, Zhuangjia muttered to herself. At this time, there was a small commotion outside the classroom. Many boys ran outside, passing messages to each other, there is a beautiful woman outside. Where? See? It's over there, talking to Teacher Zhang. Wow, so beautiful. More boys ran out of the classroom, and the girls dismissed them as superficial. Muzi didn't like to join in the fun, so she didn't go out, but Zhuangjia was a little curious, so Muzi advised her, don't go, if you have this time, it's better to lie down on the table and sleep for a while, so as not to fall asleep again in the afternoon class. After a while, Teacher Zhang from the class came to the door of the classroom and shouted with a pleasant smile, Muzi, your mother is here, come out. The whole class was in an uproar. Especially the boys, almost all fell to the ground. They thought it was a beautiful big sister, but it turned out to be a classmate's mother. Muzi, your mother looks too young. Is your mother an actress? It's so well maintained. Everyone was chattering. Muzi couldn't help feeling a little embarrassed, and walked out of the classroom blushing slightly. Bai Wei was really standing outside. She was wearing a blue cheongsam of fragrant cloud gauze and a plain grey fringed shawl. She was smiling, as if she had stepped out of a painting, very gentle and moving. Coming to her daughter's school is considered a major event, so Bai Wei put on light makeup today, looking more delicate and beautiful than usual, which attracted many people's attention as soon as she came. Mom, why are you here? Muzi asked curiously. I came to look at the house, thinking that it's your lunch break, why don't you go and see it together? Bai Wei smiled softly, her smile was pure and elegant, and her temperament was as elegant as orchid. Oh, good, Muzi nodded. Last time I said that I want to buy a house near the school, it must not be too far away from the school, and it will not take much trouble to go and have a look. Teacher Zhang next to him seemed very enthusiastic, and asked, are you going to Yujingyuan? My house is over there, and that community is still very good. Bai Wei heard this, and said, really, how long have you lived there? I heard that the greening is done well, and there is a lake in the community. There is a lake, and a few swans are raised. It is very beautiful, and the property is quite responsible. The two chatted about the house. Somehow, it turned out that Teacher Zhang took Bai Wei and Muzi to see the house together. On the way to see the house, Muzi couldn't help thinking, this Teacher Zhang seems to be single. In terms of age, Mrs. Zhang seems to be 2 years younger than Bai Wei, but Bai Wei looks young, and the two of them are right when they stand together. But Muzi felt weird in her heart, probably because she was not used to suddenly seeing someone showing so much courtesy to her mother. After arriving in the community, while Teacher Zhang was introducing the environment to Bai Wei, Muzi silently fell behind a few steps and called Murong Cheng. Let me tell you, the Chinese teacher in our class seems to be pursuing our mother, Muzi said in a low voice. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 592. You're tired of working. Murong Cheng had no good words to say, Tell mom to stay away from those sour literati. Since ancient times, there have been many scholars who are ruthless. What are you talking about? Muzi was speechless. She just wanted to share gossip with Murong Cheng, who knew that the innocent Chinese teacher would be scolded. Although she is also a little unhappy. However, the pursuit of love is everyone's freedom. Bai Wei looks virtuous and beautiful, and it's not unusual to attract admirers. She just pursues normally and doesn't do anything wretched. And Muzi always felt that Bai Wei was only in her 40s, and she would grow up in the second half of her life, so she would have to watch over her children all the time. I always feel a little pity. For such a beautiful woman, the love of the first half of her life was given to a bad old man. Will she live the rest of her life with the memory of the bad old man? Actually, I think our Chinese teacher is pretty good. Muzi seriously analyzed with Murong Cheng. He is a person who pays attention to spiritual communication, prefers lack to abuse, has never been married, has a stable job, does not smoke or drink, and likes reading and music. Drama, gentle and elegant, the conditions are quite suitable. It's all nonsense. Murong Cheng was not polite. I knew our mother could communicate with him when we first met. It's clearly just for sex. Muzi said angrily, you treat everyone like you. After scolding, I thought about it again, and couldn't help laughing, and asked, could it be that you are jealous? Oh, you can't be so narrow and selfish as a child. Mom has wasted more than 20 years in order to raise you. It's time for mom to pursue her own happiness. Muzi, your skin is itchy, aren't you? Murong Cheng said on the other end of the phone. Do you need to clean up again? Muzi smiled to herself and ignored him. She used to be very afraid of Murong Cheng, but now, it is obvious that he has no deterrent effect on her. Murong Cheng said again, today is Friday, you don't have to go to school tomorrow, you come to the manor to accompany me for 2 days. Muzi purposefully asked him with a pinched tone, do you want to communicate spiritually, or are you just looking for sex? I need them all, Murong Cheng said brazenly. Muzi cursed shamelessly in her heart. However, she hadn't seen him for several days, and she really missed him. Muzi glanced hesitantly at Bai Wei in front of her, and sighed, I'm going to lie to mom again. Every time she doesn't come home at night, she has to lie to Bai Wei. She feels very sorry. It's not a lie, just say you came to the company to see me, and help me. By the way, Murong Cheng paused, and then said, Sarah is pregnant, and Huolin wants to celebrate, you know, there are not many real friends in China, so you just come here to get together. Muzi was stunned. She remembered that Murong Cheng said that when Sarah became pregnant, Huolin would take Sarah back to France to raise the baby. Unexpectedly, Sarah got pregnant so smoothly. Muzi was thinking about something. She couldn't concentrate when looking at the house, and before she knew it, it was almost time for class. Bai Wei still hesitated and couldn't make a decision. Go back to school with the teacher first, Bai Wei said, I'll ask your brother about the house later. You should be cautious. Buying a house is a big deal after all. Mrs. Zhang was very enthusiastic. You can tell me what you want about the house. My family lives here and I am familiar with several neighborhoods nearby. I usually help you take a look. It doesn't cost anything. Bai Wei said politely, how dare you? It's okay, I'm not busy anyway, Teacher Zhang said. Muzi silently glanced at the Chinese teacher, slandering her, we are about to have the final exam, okay. After Bai Wei left, Muzi returned to school with the teacher. On the way, she heard the Chinese teacher muttering to herself, there is a beautiful person, clear and graceful. When we meet again, it suits my wish. Muzi felt extremely cold. Suddenly and sincerely agree with Murong Cheng's words, it's really sour. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 593. In the evening, Cheng called Bai Wei, and the two chatted about the house for a while. Bai Wei faltered and said, "The house is pretty good, but the neighbors nearby are a little too enthusiastic." I held back her laughter, almost crying. The shy Bai Wei obviously couldn't stand the enthusiastic Chinese teacher. However, there is no way around this. Teachers like to buy houses near the school. There is a lot of room for appreciation, and it is convenient to go to and from the school. Therefore, if you want to buy a house near the school, it is very common to meet teachers and students. Cheng said that he would take care of the house and let Bai Wei not worry about it. Then he didn't know what to do to Bai Wei, and coaxed her to let I go to find him. Bai Wei didn't feel suspicious at all. I also pretended to be ignorant, got into the car in a daze, and headed for the Huo family manor. She was still guilty, and she didn't know when such sneaky days would be the end. When we arrived at the manor, it was completely dark, and the dining room was lit with Italian-style crystal chandeliers, and the lights were bright and bright. The melodious music reverberated around, accompanied by laughter, as if the court was full of guests, drinking, creating a bustling and lively scene. I walked in, but found that there were only 3 people inside, Cheng, Huolin, and Sarah. Holin and Sarah danced around the dinner table, not moving much but laughing loudly. Cheng was drinking alone, his brows were filled with boredom, and he only smiled when he saw I coming in. "Come here." Cheng walked over a few steps and pulled I to his side. He sat here and watched the two show their affection. He had seen enough. The food on the table was untouched, obviously they were all waiting for her. I's eyes fell on Sarah's belly blankly, curious, "There is already a baby there? Just got 2 bars in the test, so I can't be proud of her." Cheng said, "I guess it's only 2 weeks old." I asked, "It's so small, can't you take a plane?" "Well, Holly plans to wait 3 months until Sarah's condition is stable before returning to France." I thought it was very strange, after not seeing her for a while, a new life was actually conceived in Sarah's stomach, and it was still the seed of young Master Huo Shizhen. Huolin led Sarah over and greeted Musa with a smile. She is radiant, her face seems to be glowing, and she is full of vitality and joy. I didn't know whether to congratulate Huolin on becoming a mother, or becoming a father, or an aunt. "When are you two going to take care of it?" Huolin raised her glass and asked her and Cheng with a smile. I thought, "It's still early." But Cheng said, "This summer vacation." "Ah," I looked at him in surprise. Cheng said, "Now in May, when Sarah is 3 months away, it happens to be the summer vacation in August. At that time, we will go to France together to see the residence of the future heir of the Huo family, register for marriage by the way, and have another honeymoon." When Huolin saw I's bewildered expression, she knew that she didn't know it at all, so she burst out laughing and said, "Huo wrong, you are too shameless." I didn't agree to it at all. "If you want to get married, you should do it first. Propose." Then he asked Musa narrowly, "He wants to marry you, do you agree or not?" I subconsciously shook her head. She wasn't prepared for this at all. Why was she about to get married all of a sudden? "No, no, no." Cheng said, "If you agree, you will get married, if you don't agree, you will be forced to marry, there is no difference." Huolin leaned over the desk and laughed wildly, regardless of her image. "Musa, how can you bear this kind of person, ha 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 ha." I silently cut the steak on the plate. She also felt strange. How could she bear it? Thinking about the journey in my heart for more than half a year, it is also very sad. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 594. After the meal, the four of them gathered at the dining table and talked for a long time about the children. Huolin bought many mother and baby products for Sarah. It's too early to buy these things now, but according to Holland, I can't control it. Before 9 o'clock, Holly coaxed Sarah to go to bed, saying it was for the sake of the baby in her womb. Sarah listened to Huolin's words very much, and the two went back to the room to rest sweetly. Muzi took a children's plush toy, feeling very fresh, thinking, after having a baby, will all people become like this? Fallen into a shopaholic of mother and baby products? She had never had a child in her previous 2 lifetimes, so it's not a pity, it's just curiosity. Murong Cheng looked at her from the side, and asked with a smile, do you want to feel it? What do you feel? Muzi was puzzled. Murong Cheng said, feel the feeling of having a child. Hearing this kind of answer, Muzi felt that there was no suspense at all, and gave Murong Cheng a contemptuous look, and didn't even bother to scold him. Murong Cheng took the plush toy from her hand, smiled and stuffed it into Muzi's clothes, patted his swollen abdomen, and said, okay, let's feel it now. Muzi. What? Murong Cheng looked at Muzi seriously, and jokingly said, you seem a little disappointed, do you think that I will really make you pregnant? Muzi pulled out the plush doll from his clothes, and threw it at Murong Cheng's face angrily, boring. She turned and went upstairs. Murong Cheng picked up the doll, walked away with long legs, caught up with her in a few steps, took her hand and said, Zizi, although we can't do it for the time being, we should make plans. Starting today, we have to quit smoking, quit drinking so that you can give birth to a beautiful and healthy little princess. He always said that he was going to have a daughter, and he was going to have 3. Muzi wanted to have a boy. It's not because of patriarchy, but because she feels that women always have a very difficult life in this world. Maybe men are having a hard time too? Forget it, she is a woman and cannot empathize. Muzi shook Murong Cheng's hand, but she didn't have much strength to shake it off. Her cheeks were slightly red, and her tone was arrogant, it's up to you, whether you want to quit or not. You have to quit too, Murong Cheng told her, don't drink any more in the future, don't go to places with chemical pollution, and don't use mobile phones, there is radiation. Muzi irritatedly said, it's such a trouble, it won't happen anymore. No trouble, Murong Cheng coaxed her to go upstairs, you just need to lie down. The night in May is cool, and the air is filled with the faint fragrance of vegetation, filling the surroundings. Xiao Jingjia was lying on the bed, with an indescribable boredom in her body, scratching her heart and lungs, making her unable to fall asleep. She sat up and drank a large glass of water, still unable to calm down. The irritability made her unable to concentrate, let alone think calmly. Xiao Jingjia found it unbearable, thinking, just one is fine, just one, it doesn't matter. She looked up at her phone, and the time showed 11:20 in the evening. At this time, everyone should be asleep, right? Xiao Jingjia opened the closet, reached into the stacked clothes, and took out 2 cigarettes after a while. When Mu Zhenning smokes, he doesn't deliberately count how many cigarettes are left in the cigarette case. Xiao Jingjia goes in and out of his bedroom and study, and when cleaning, the cigarette case is placed on the table. She would take 1 or 2 at a time without anyone noticing. Xiao Jingjia took the cigarette and told herself, it's okay, just one. She didn't find a lighter in the room, she felt strange, and suddenly remembered that Xiao Wanwan came to Mu's house today. Could it be that Xiao Wanwan took her lighter? You know, Xiao Wanwan herself is a drug addict. Xiao Jingjia became even more irritable. Enduring the discomfort, she went to Xiao Wanwan's room. Xiao Wanwan hadn't slept yet, seeing Xiao Jingjia coming, She frowned slightly and asked, "Why haven't you slept yet?" "Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again." Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 595. Qiao Jingjia ignored Xiao Wanwan. She saw the lighter on the bedside cabinet at a glance, walked over to hold it in her hand, turned around and left. Xiao Wanwan immediately sat up from the bed. "What are you doing with a lighter at night?" Qiao Jingjia went straight out, but Xiao Wanwan came up from behind wearing slippers, grabbed her hand and asked, "What's the matter with you? Why didn't you answer?" "Leave me alone." Qiao Jingjia broke away from her hand and hurried to her room. Seeing her anxious and irritable expression, Xiao Wanwan suddenly realized, and her face turned pale. "Jingjia, Jingjia. Stop!" Xiao Wanwan ran over nervously and grabbed Qiao Jingjia. "Did you touch that thing? How many times have I said it? You can't touch it." Xiao Wanwan's voice was especially sharp and ear-piercing in the silent corridor late at night. "Are you crazy? So loud," Qiao Jingjia yelled, suppressing her voice, "are you trying to kill me?" Xiao Wanwan took a deep breath, grabbed Qiao Jingjia and asked, "Why is this happening? Didn't you tell you to play tricks on Mu Zhening's cigarette? Why are you still smoking? Do you know what this is? Do you really understand?" As a result of Qiao Jingjia closed her eyes annoyed, and rubbed her forehead. "Sometimes he would pull me to smoke together, I made excuses to refuse twice, but I can't refuse again and again, he will get suspicious." When Xiao Wanwan heard this, her whole heart turned cold. She froze in place, but Qiao Jingjia couldn't wait any longer. She just wanted to go back to the room and take a sip, even just one sip, at least it would make her feel less uncomfortable scratching herself. "This is not right." Xiao Wanwan held her back. "Jingjia, we may have betrayed you, and Mu Zhening deliberately designed you to enter the game. No, this place can't stay any longer. Quick, get your things, let's go now." "Why did you go crazy at night?" Qiao Jingjia was so annoyed, she just wanted to go back to the room to have a smoke. Why Xiao Wanwan insisted on whining with her here? "Let go of me," Qiao Jingjia said angrily. The two tugged and tugged until they reached the stairs. Qiao Jingjia was even more mad. If any servant passed by here and saw her and Xiao Wanwan, she didn't know how to explain it. Xiao Wanwan said, "We must leave quickly. Mu Zhening has bad intentions and will definitely blackmail you with this. Possession, poisoning, and drug use are all serious crimes. Jingjia, do you want to spend the rest of your life in prison? What's more, this will directly implicate Xiao Wanwan. After all, the source of goods was provided by her." Normally, Qiao Jingjia would calm down and think carefully, but now, she seems to have countless ants crawling all over her body, irritable and anxious, and can't listen to anything. "Don't pull me. I want to go back to the room." Qiao Jingjia was almost yelling. She didn't want to care about anything now, she just wanted to go back to the room and take a few deep breaths. Xiao Wanwan insisted on pulling her downstairs. "Let's go now while Mu Zhening is unprepared. You go down and hail a taxi, I'll be there right away with my things." "Are you annoying?" Qiao Jingjia was furious. "If you want to go, go by yourself, I won't go." Now that the relationship between her and Mu Zhening has finally eased, how can she leave? "Do not. She will never go." "Jingjia, listen to me, the situation is not right now." Xiao Wanwan's hand tightly grasped Qiao Jingjia's arm, pinching it deeply into the flesh. "I'm afraid Mu Zhening wants to deal with us, the one I gave you earlier. If it falls into his hands, it will become a criminal evidence. We must flee immediately. Leave Qingjiang City." "You hurt me." Qiao Jingjia struggled hard and pushed Xiao Wanwan hard. "Go away." Xiao Wanwan's slender body fell back, she spread her fingers, and grabbed the air twice, but she couldn't grab anything. Boom! Fell hard on the stairs and rolled down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 596. Due to years of drug addiction, Xiao Wanwan's body has always been thin. She fell down the stairs, rolled twice, and finally stopped at the corner of 2 flights of stairs, motionless. Xiao Wanwan, Xiao Jingjia was timid and called her name in a low voice. No one responded. In the corridor in the middle of the night, only a small dim lamp was lit, illuminating the surroundings dimly, creating a sense of terror in the illusion. Xiao Jingjia's body trembled, not knowing whether it was because of the cold or because of fear. She wanted to go down to see Xiao Wanwan's life and death, but her legs were weak and she couldn't use any strength. But at this time, the sound of heavy footsteps sounded from the other side of the corridor. Xiao Jingjia's scalp was numb. She turned her head and looked over, and saw Mu Zhenning slowly coming from the shadows, with a smile on his gloomy face, mocking without smiling. Zhenning. Xiao Jingjia's lips were trembling. My mother fell down. Mu Zhenning didn't speak, but raised his head with a half smile, motioning her to look up. Xiao Jingjia stared blankly. In the next moment, her face turned pale. Why didn't she know when the surveillance cameras were installed here? Xiao Jingjia's legs softened, she staggered back half a step, and finally sat limp on the ground. She was shaking all over, very violently. How could this be? Mu Zhenning slowly took out his phone, as if he was in distress, and said, "How should I tell the police? Say you sell and take drugs, or say you murdered your mother." No, Xiao Jingjia seemed to be awakened by Mu Zhenning's words, and tears welled up all at once. She crawled and rolled, hugged Mu Zhenning's leg, and cried loudly, "Zhenning! I beg you, don't send me to jail. I didn't mean it. This is all Xiao Wanwan's idea. I just love you so much. I want to marry you, so I will be bewitched by her." Mu Zhenning walked slowly in front of her, squatted down, and looked at Xiao Jingjia's tearful face. "Jingjia," he said softly, "you have lied to me so many times, how could I not be on guard against you? I haven't touched any of those cigarettes, but you have smoked a lot. How is it? How does it taste?" Xiao Jingjia stared at him blankly, feeling that the man in front of her was extremely strange. She could no longer see a trace of warmth in his eyes, only the chill down to the bone and deep hatred. Is he still the Mu Zhenning she knew? Big tears rolled down Xiao Jingjia's eyes. At this moment, she finally regretted it. Why do you listen to Xiao Wanwan? Why do you want to be poisoned? Maybe, she was wrong from the beginning. If she keeps her job and does her own job, she can still stay in the procuratorate now, even if she is only an assistant, and she will have the opportunity to be promoted in the future, instead of being like this, completely over. Her life is over. Xiao Jingjia was so desperate that she couldn't even cry now. Mu Zhenning whispered to her, "Tell me who bought you, and I'll let you go." His voice was low and bewildering. "No one knows that you pushed her. I will not hand over those poisoned cigarettes to the police. How about it? Jingjia, this is your last chance." Xiao Jingjia had no way out, and Mu Zhenning's words were the only life-saving straw in front of her eyes. Her brain was powerless to think, and her heart was in a mess. "It's the Huo family," she closed her eyes and said in despair and distress, "Before you got married, people from the Huo family threatened me to find a way to seduce you. Stop you from getting married. But you only have Suzi in your eyes, no matter what, no matter how I show my favor, you are not moved. The other party will not stop doing anything, find someone to hurt you, and hypnotize you when you are unconscious. You know the rest of it. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again." Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 597. Xiao Jingjia told Mu Zhenning everything she knew. At first, she just wanted to ruin the wedding, but Mu Zhenning had loved Su Ziyi for 4 years, how could he easily transfer his love to another? So they found someone to hurt Mu Zhenning, and tied him and Xiao Jingjia together in the name of healing. As long as Su Ziyi had insight into their relationship, he would definitely propose a divorce. Xiao Jingjia didn't know what the other party's intentions were. She thought it was the enemy of the Mu family who wanted to punish Mu Zhenning, not only bringing Mu Zhenning's company to the brink of bankruptcy, but also making him lose the woman he admired. Under such a double blow, Mu Zhenning will definitely be devastated. Later, in the process of getting along with Mu Zhenning, Xiao Jingjia gradually had different thoughts. She is also a woman who has entered the procuratorate. How is she worse than Su Ziyi? She just entered the procuratorate, 2 years later than Su Ziyi. Xiao Jingjia was very unconvinced. Su Ziyi's family background is ordinary, her parents are unknown, but because of her status as a woman, she was treated preferentially in the procuratorate. She was superior, surrounded by flowers and awards, and had an affectionate and rich husband. Her career and love made her extremely enviable. However, Su Ziyi seemed to be very noble, showing a look of indifference to all that Xiao Jingjia coveted. This made Xiao Jingjia hate her even more. At this time, someone just happened to want to bring down Mu Zhenning, as if giving Xiao Jingjia an outlet for her jealousy. At first she was terrified, but gradually, she became obsessed with the persecution without swords or swords. Money, fame, marriage, she wants everything Su Ziyi has. I never wanted to harm you. It was the psychiatrist who gave me a few books and taught me some elementary methods of psychological suggestion, and cooperated with him to hypnotize you. Xiao Jingjia argued for herself, those people are too powerful, I dare not listen to them. Not long ago, Mr. Huo passed away, and I saw the man who threatened me in the news, and I realized that it was the Huo family who were dealing with you. Xiao Jingjia cried, Zhenning, that's the Huo family. Those people kill people without blinking an eye. I'm a weak woman, and I really don't dare to defy you, so I treat you like this. I know I'm wrong, I really know I'm wrong. Please, don't call the police, I will leave Xinjiang City immediately, and I will never obstruct your eyes again. I beg you. The Huo family forced you to hypnotize, so what about my cigarettes? Mu Zhenning sneered, did the Huo family also ask you to do this? Xiao Jingjia burst into tears, I was confused for a moment. Zhenning, I was wrong. Please let me go. I don't want to go to jail. Mu Zhenning asked, tell me, which member of the Huo family is dealing with me? I really don't know. I don't dare to inquire. If I didn't see the news by accident, I wouldn't even know their identities. Xiao Jingjia was still terrified when she mentioned those people. Instigated by the patriarch of the Huo family. Mu Zhenning didn't believe it, and said in a cold voice, Xiao Jingjia, don't play tricks with me, the patriarch of the Huo family doesn't know me. Why did you go out of your way to destroy my company and marriage? Even if I accidentally offended him, he would tickle his fingers. It can kill me, hypnotize and change medicine. What is he trying to do? I really don't know. They just ordered me to do things, and never said the reason. Xiao Jingjia was miserable. Maybe they want to destroy your reputation? Instead of killing Su Ziyi with poison, you get so much insurance money for nothing. Someone will definitely suspect you of murdering your wife. Xiao Jingjia added, I made a false statement to the police to help you, and lied that Su Ziyi was going to the bow of the boat because I wanted to prepare a surprise gift for you. Otherwise, you are now a wife-killing suspect. Zhenning, look at me for the sake of helping you, please forgive me this time. Okay. Mu Zhenning took out his phone, as long as you call her and explain everything clearly, I'll let you go. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 598. Call up. Who to call? Xiao Jingjia was stunned, and looked down at the phone screen. The name of the address book displayed on it turned out to be Musei. She was confused. This matter had nothing to do with Musei. Why did Mu Zhenning ask her to tell Musei? Zhenning, if this matter gets out, those people won't let me go. Xiao Jingjia hesitated. Mu Zhenning smiled, put the phone back, pressed another number, and handed it to her. Then make this number, how about it? On the screen of the mobile phone, the alarm number was displayed impressively. Xiao Jingjia's back felt cold, and she didn't dare to take any chances anymore. She tremblingly said, I'll hit Musei. Xiao Jingjia dialed Musei's number. A monotonous connection tone comes from the phone, beep beep. Time passed bit by bit, and every wait seemed extremely long. For a long time, no one answered the phone. Xiao Jingjia looked at Mu Zhenning cautiously. Maybe she's already asleep. Mu Zhenning knew that Musei was not at home tonight. Moreover, Murong Chen was not there either. Just thinking about these two people, it is very likely that they are sharing the same bed at this moment, or even upside down. Mu Zhenning's heart feels like a hole has been cut open, and the pus and blood of hatred flow out from it. He hates it so much. What did he do wrong? Why should I be treated like this? Keep calling if you can't get through, Mu Zhenning said angrily. Call until she answers the phone. Xiao Jingjia was terrified, and after no one answered, she called Musei's number for the second time. This time, Musei finally answered the phone. There was deep sleepiness in her voice, as if she was still not fully awakened from sleep. Hello. Musei. Xiao Jingjia swallowed nervously, her voice trembling. I have something to tell you. Xiao Jingjia. Musei woke up a little bit, her tone was very surprised. She obviously didn't expect Xiao Jingjia to call her in the middle of the night. Musei asked suspiciously, what's the matter? You wasn't investigating the cause of Suzai's death, Xiao Jingjia said. You guessed right, she was killed by someone, and the medicine I gave her was not the medicine given by Mu Zhenning, the medicine was changed by me. Who asked you to change the medicine? Musei lost all sleepiness, and immediately sat up from the bed, asking, why did you suddenly tell me this? It's been. Xiao Jingjia was about to speak, but it seemed that someone was telling her something, and the voice could not be heard clearly. Musei frowned, and asked, Xiao Jingjia, hello. Musei, do you really want to know? Come to Musei now, and I'll tell you in person. Xiao Jingjia suddenly changed her tone. I can't tell you clearly on the phone. After all, hung up the phone. Musei held the cell phone that had ended the call, and was in a daze for a long while without regaining consciousness. Murong Chen asked her what was wrong. Xiao Jingjia called me and said she had something to tell me. Musei murmured in bewilderment. It's strange, why did she suddenly tell me this? Could something have happened? Murong Chen stared at her with deep black eyes, and asked, oh, did she say what it was? She said she couldn't make it clear on the phone and asked me to go back to Mu's house now. Musei felt that this was very unusual. Xiao Jingjia must have had an accident. Go to sleep, I'm in Mu's house, I can't escape anyway. Murong Chen caressed her long hair, and said calmly, I'll go back tomorrow, I'll ask her again. Musei thought for a while, nodded, and went back to sleep. It's too late now, and the manor is very far away from the city. It will be 2 o'clock in the morning when she rushes back. Why don't I ask tomorrow? Anyway, Xiao Jingjia wanted to marry into the Mu family, so she definitely wouldn't run away. Murong Chen hugged Musei into his arms, kissed the top of her hair, and said in a low voice, good night, baby. Musei smiled and pinched his face. Good night, sweetheart. Murong Chen laughed. After laughing, An imperceptible gloomy color flashed across his eyes. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 599. Xiao Jingjie returned the phone to Mu Zhenning. She looked at him nervously. I have done as you said. Mu Zhenning ignored her. After getting back his phone, he called the emergency center, saying that someone at home had fallen down the stairs and asked the medical staff to come over. Only then did Xiao Jingjie realize that Xiao Wanwan was not dead. Xiao Wanwan just passed out. Xiao Jingjie breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't want to be a murderer, let alone the murderer who killed her own mother. However, those poisoned cigarettes fell into Mu Zhenning's hands, which is solid evidence. Besides, since Mu Zhenning was on guard, who knows if there is a surveillance system installed in the guest room where she rests. Xiao Jingjie had no luck at all. She was cold, shivering and curled up into a ball, struggling with the pain of drug addiction. Mu Zhenning didn't care about her anymore, and only said, after the medical staff arrives, you can follow her to take care of her. Then he went straight back to the room. His back was ruthless and cold. Hearing the sound of the door being closed, Xiao Jingjie seemed to be pardoned. She crawled back to the room, and lit a cigarette hungrily. Circles of smoke were exhaled rapidly from the mouth and nose, and the pain of being bitten by thousands of ants was relieved. Xiao Jingjie sat behind the door, and finally slowly returned to her senses. She began to think. Mu Zhenning's path is obviously not going to work. As for Xiao Wanwan, even if she didn't die, she might have to lie in the hospital for a few days. Xiao Wanwan has caused her to be like this, so is she still going to be a filial daughter, serving tea and water at the front of the hospital bed? Xiao Jingjie felt resentful. She suddenly thought, why didn't Xiao Wanwan just die? My previous thoughts were indeed correct, this woman is a cancer. It was the biggest cancer in her life. If it wasn't for Xiao Wanwan, how could she have fallen to this point? Xiao Jingjie took a deep breath of the cigarette. Before smoking it, she was suffering and painful. After smoking it, she was excited and radiant. She found a women's satchel and began to pack her luggage. She grabbed her mobile phone, keys, and wallet randomly, and stuffed them all into it. Xinjiang City can't stay here anymore, she has to escape quickly, change her name and surname later, maybe she can start all over again, but if she is sent to prison by Mu Zhenning, then her life will be over. The medical staff from the emergency center came to Mu's house, and Xiao Jingjie followed them into the ambulance. Along the way, her expression was tense, her face was pale, and she pursed her lips tightly in silence. The medical staff thought she was in danger of her mother's life. In fact, she was thinking about her way out. What will she do after leaving Xinjiang? Where are you going? What do I need to prepare? Money, she needs money. Lots and lots of money. Only money can guarantee her life. Mu Zhenning's credit card is still in her hand, but it may be deactivated at any time, or it has been deactivated now. Where should she get money? After arriving at the hospital, Xiao Wanwan was immediately sent to the emergency room, while Xiao Jingjie was called by the nurse to complete the admission procedures. She was absent-minded, thinking over and over in her mind how to get out clean. When returning to the emergency room, the door happened to open, and the doctor and nurse came out talking. This person seems to have taken drugs, his organs have failed to varying degrees, and there are many injection holes in his arms. Should we call the police? Give her a urine test first, and if it's positive, call the police. She seems to be here with her family members. Do you want to ask about this? Xiao Jingjie's footsteps suddenly stopped. She lowered her head, pretending she was just passing by, and hurried past the door of the emergency room without stopping. The hospital can't stay anymore, she has to leave quickly. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 600. The sky is big and the earth is big, you can always find a place to stay, but no matter where you go, if you want to have a secure life, you need money. The night was dark and dense, and Xiao Jingjia returned to Xiao Wanwan's residence. She planned to mortgage the house and set up a sum of cash to use as travel expenses for her fugitive career in the future. It takes time for approval to go to the bank through formal channels, but if you find those informal loan companies, you can get the money on the same day. Xiao Jingjia rummaged through drawers and cabinets frantically, trying to find Xiao Wanwan's real estate certificate. All the lights in the house were turned on and brightly lit. She searched all the places she could find, but found nothing. Xiao Jingjia was irritable and mad. Damn, where is the real estate certificate hidden? At this time, the doorbell was rang. Xiao Jingjia froze on the spot and didn't move for a while, she was terrified. Who would come to Xiao Wanwan's house in the early hours of the morning? Is it a neighbor? Is it the creditor who came to collect the debt? Or Xiao Wanwan's concubine? Xiao Jingjia's face was pale, she walked to the door little by little, leaned slightly, and looked at the cat's eye on the door. A man stood outside the door. That face had appeared countless times in her nightmares, and it was the deepest fear in her heart. Xiao Jingjia covered her mouth and tried her best not to let herself make a sound. It would be best if she pretended that there was no one in the house, and maybe he would leave. But at this moment, the man moved. He approached slightly, with a half smile, and put his face close. Eyes look into cat eyes, look in, look in. Muzi got up early the next day and didn't sleep in for the first time. She remembered Xiao Jingjia's phone call in her heart, and always felt that something might happen. Xiao Jingjia's tone and voice last night were too weird. Muzi got up, and Murong Chen naturally couldn't sleep. The two changed clothes and washed, and then went downstairs to have breakfast. Huolin and Sarah were still sleeping, so when eating breakfast, there were only Muzi and Murong Chen. As Muzi ate, she became dazed. Murong Chen put a lot of bean sprouts on her plate. Eating bean sprouts in the morning is quite strange, Murong Chen said. It is said that pig blood and bean sprouts can cleanse the body of dust and create a good environment for the future baby. Muzi didn't listen at all, she ate whatever was on the plate. Will Xiao Jingjia be coerced by someone? Muzi couldn't figure it out, and murmured, a person like her who doesn't cry when she sees the coffin, if she hadn't been driven to a desperate situation, she wouldn't be like this. Muzi thought again, who will coerce her? She is about to get engaged to Mu Zhenning. When she is officially proud of herself, what is there to be unhappy about? Maybe this is her trick. Murong Chen fed her a mouthful of custard to prevent her from reading any further. Deliberately whet your appetite and arouse your curiosity, and then you will be led by her nose, Murong Chen said. Muzi didn't refute, she felt that what Murong Chen said was quite reasonable. Xiao Jingjia is really good at doing this. Just like before, she lured Fu Chajun to attend the banquet of Mu's family step by step. I don't care about her, anyway, after I go back, I will know what she wants to do. Muzi felt relieved and continued to eat. Xiao Jingjia fought with her many times, and each time she was defeated badly. Muzi was very confident that no matter what tricks Xiao Jingjia came up with, she would be able to handle it with ease. The messy thoughts settled down, and the attention returned to the food in front of him. She suddenly felt a strange taste in her mouth. Muzi looked suspiciously at Murong Chen. What did you feed me? Murong Chen was stunned for a moment, and said, pig blood tofu soup. I don't eat pig's blood. Muzi was annoyed, picked up the water glass and took 2 sips, it's so disgusting. Murong Chen glanced at the soup bowl. The bowl of soup had already bottomed out, so if you don't want to eat it, just stop eating. At this moment, a servant came over respectfully. Master Wrong, young Master Gu is here.